All right, folks, it is Tuesday, December 30th. Welcome to the what's going to be the last live stream of 2025. Thank you very much to Tank2B. First comment of the day says, let's go. And yeah, let's go. Let's jump right into this, folks. It's been a hell of a year. It's been a year of a lot of changes. For me, of course, leaving Ring of Fire, focusing full time on Fair and Balanced in the past month, starting these live streams every day, which, yeah, it's been a little weird because of the holidays. So I've taken a few days of not doing streams, even though I'm supposed to be doing them, but you get the point. Mostly not been a great year. Politically speaking, not good things. A lot of weirdness, a lot of craziness, a lot of really horrible restrictions on the rights of certain groups of individuals. Just overall, I think everybody's kind of ready to put 2025 in the rearview mirror. And that is what we're going to do today with the last stream of 2025. Now, before I really get into this, let me say real quick that I am going to take tomorrow off from the live stream. I will be back doing a stream on New Year's Day. Let's kick the year off with a bang, right? So I will be doing that just so everybody is aware. But let's get into this, right? Yesterday, the New York Times published a major profile, for some reason, of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Greene decided that since she only has a few days left in Congress, next week, of course, will be her last day, she's going to go scorched earth on Donald Trump. And that is exactly what she did in this New York Times profile. She didn't hold back. She absolutely let it rip that he is a horrible human being. I'm going to get into some of the key points, but before I do, I want to make one thing absolutely crystal clear. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a hate-filled bigot. Okay? She is not an ally. She is not somebody that anyone on the left needs to embrace. And I say that after watching for years and years Democrats start embracing horrible human beings like Liz Cheney, because she also didn't like Trump. And oh boy, that must mean we're super best friends. Absolutely not. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not being absolved. And I feel like the New York Times tried to do this with her, but she cannot be absolved for her sins of the past. And of course, the sins she's still committing, going after the transgender community harsher than anyone else, trying to strip them of their very right to exist. So, that is what I wanted to start by saying. None of this in any way suggests that Marjorie Taylor Greene is the kind of person that we need on our side. We don't want her. We don't like her, and we never will. Having said that, let's get into her very fun attacks on Donald Trump. First of all, Greene says that Trump's Christian faith is performative and empty. Color me shocked. Who'd have thunk it that Donald Trump is a fake, phony Christian? Wow. We're off to groundbreaking right out of the gate here, folks. Donald Trump is a fake Christian. Unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, whose heart is just filled with hate for everybody, much like Christ himself, right? Marge, people in glass houses can't throw stones, all right? And here you are living in your glass house of fake Christianity where you just hate everybody, and you're throwing a lot of stones. A super chat here, and I love this, from V-Man. Thank you much. Good to see you again. Says, Dims, please ignore the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I agree with that 100%. And I think an even better way to state this, and I saw this during the Liz Cheney thing, just because we have a common enemy does not mean that we have a common goal. And that is something that everybody needs to remember with this Marjorie Taylor Greene makeover tour that she's apparently going on. But her comments about Trump and his Christianity, she says that these evolved after the death of Charlie Kirk. She says that she had a bit of awakening after that. And now, on that front, I will say, for those of you who tuned into my video last week about why I left Ring of Fire, sometimes, yeah, moments like that do have the ability to change people. It changed me. I don't think it changed her at all. So she may say that's where she kind of flipped on Trump, because that's where she realized that his Christianity was purely performative. But I don't know. Again, it's hard to take her at her word because of how many lies she's told over the years and just what a kind of bigoted person she has been. I don't know. Another point, and again, this is all from Mediaite, by the way. They did a good job of just kind of laying all this out. Greene claims Trump privately admitted he wanted to protect his friends from any Epstein revelations. And again, to that, I'm going to say, duh. Just as the first one, Greene says Trump's a fake Christian, and then Greene says Trump wanted to protect his friends from Epstein. Yeah, they were all his friends. They hung out a lot while partying with, get this, Jeffrey Epstein. It wasn't just his friends he's protecting, he's also protecting himself. But yeah, they're friends. They all partied together. Again, we understand that. This is not exactly the New York Times going to win a Pulitzer for this. Greene blames Trump for training GOP on toxic politics. This one's fun. Greene said, quote, "Our side has been trained by Donald Trump to never apologize and to never admit when you're wrong. You just keep pummeling your enemies no matter what. And as a Christian, I don't believe in doing that. After Charlie died, I realized that I'm part of this toxic culture. I really started looking at my faith. I wanted to be more like Christ." Bullcrap. Call it bullcrap on that right now. You have not changed your ways. You're not being more Christ-like. Christ accepted everybody, regardless of faith, regardless of gender, regardless of color, regardless of everything. It was love thy neighbor, not love some of thy neighbors, and then other neighbors, you got to get them out your damn country, right? MAGA Christ. No, that's not a thing. So you're not doing well when in terms of I want to be more Christ-like. But I got to tell you, the New York Times is absolutely doing a good job with this piece of trying to give Greene this makeover, similar to what 60 Minutes did about 2 years ago. Remember that? When 60 Minutes, even before, the conservatives took it over, they did this whole piece on Marjorie Taylor Greene where she's like, hey, I'm not the same crazy person. I don't believe in the QAnon stuff. And then she immediately, like within days, is back out there with QAnon bullcrap, conspiracy theories, anger, vitriol, screaming, yelling, getting into a fight with Lauren Boebert on the floor of the House. This is like a cycle now. We're almost just repeating the same history of Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, hey, I'm sorry about all that. I'm not that person anymore. And then she'll go and become even more extreme. You watch. That's what's going to happen here. When she leaves Congress, I'm assuming she is either going to, do a podcast or go get a job with her, fiance over at the One America, America's Voice. I don't know, something America. Because God forbid conservatives have a network that doesn't have America in the name, because then you might get confused. She'll be in the media and she'll be saying the same dumb crap, and we'll still be covering it, unfortunately. Let me get to a super chat here from Crushed Level. Says the MAGA party essentially are the Templars from Assassin's Creed. They believe power and control is the only way to achieve peace, even though Trump clearly doesn't care about peace. That's a good point, and I'm actually going to get to that in a segment after I do this one. So stick around, because I do want to talk about Donald Trump and his attacks on Venezuela, the potential attacks coming on Iran, So after I get through with the Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff, we're going to get into that. That's important. Got to be talked about. Greene warns that Trump has a woman problem. Yeah. Yeah. This, again, not groundbreaking here. New York Times, you're really kind of not doing anybody any favors. Greene feared being murdered after Trump branded her a traitor. Yeah, that was real. The police in her district in Georgia did confirm that they were investigating some of these death threats. That is a very serious issue. That is something that all of us, by the way, have experienced after the 2024 election results, before Trump was even sworn in that time period of the end of November, December, and last January. I received more threats than I've ever received. It was so bad. They were calling my wife's cell phone and leaving her voicemails and calling her a whore, telling her to end her own life for marrying a guy like me. I have those voicemails saved. It was bad. And of course it has in fact tapered off, but I get it where she's coming from, like, hey, these were scary things. Hell yeah, they are when that happens. Nobody should be in that situation. And it's unfortunate that so many of us are. But Greene herself has inspired a lot of death threats against Democratic lawmakers. So, it's hard to have sympathy for her when she is also the cause of a lot of different people getting these kinds of threats. Super chat, thank you very much, says MTG is an arsonist complaining about burnt hands. I love it. Beautiful comment. Greene, of course, says that J.D. Vance was great about her death threats. Trump, of course, mocked them. And then Greene says GOP leaders tried to put her back in her box. Greene described the Republican leader's reaction to her post-Trump attack media appearances, including a sit-down on ABC's The View and on Real Time with Bill Maher. All of a sudden, I'm in places you're not supposed to be, she said. She mocked their alleged scorn and fury with a mocking impression as deliberately sexist. Little MTG, you get back in your little effing box in the kitchen and shut up and cook us dinner and stay there. Okay, yeah. I mean, nobody likes you, though. They wanted you to shut up, not just because of your attacks on Trump. I think that played a big role in it, but you're also crazy. You're also very bigoted. You're a loudmouth liar. So I'm not going to fault anybody for, of course, telling you, go shut up, please. Because honestly, Marge, shut up. We don't care. You're doing this same thing you did 2 years ago with the makeover tour, blah, 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 blah. We've seen this rehearsal. Now it's the main event. It's bullcrap. The whole thing is bullcrap. Super chat from S. Larson 231 says the far right evangelical fundamentalist extremist cultists who filled Trump administration believe God put them there to destroy the U.S. from within so rich whites can be raptured. I grew up with them. And Jeff Charlotte, a brilliant author, has written so many books about this. So has Frank Schaeffer. Schaeffer's father, of course, really helped invent the religious right. So if you haven't read the books by Jeff Charlotte about these organizations, if you haven't read Frank Schaeffer's about the history and how it all formed together, do that. Two amazing authors, lots of amazing books between them. And it talks a lot about that. Super chat from Jimmy J. Voyager says, who do you think is best? Come back. Who do you think is the best candidate for Florida governor? I'm supporting David Jolly. Honestly, I haven't looked into all the folks who are running yet, so I'm not going to make any kind of statement about who is best and who is not. Later on, obviously, long before the primary, I will. That is something we will discuss in a future stream. Absolutely. Because obviously Florida's a biggie. Maybe good things happen, maybe bad things happen, but we'll see. Super chat from V-Man says, reminds me of an environmental activist in Puerto Rico who became a senator this year due to have a drive-by happen at his house for protesting constructions that were environmentally damaging. And that's the problem, is like all of these folks get death threats. It's not just the lawmakers. It's not just the people in the media. It's activists. And the activists, honestly, probably have it worse than everybody else, because not only do we know that they're getting these death threats and they've got this massive, well-funded corporate machine going after them, the government is also tailing them. They are now labeled as domestic terrorists in the eyes of Kash Patel's FBI. So that is, a kind of double whammy for the hardships that these activists go through. Super chat from Scorpius says, good afternoon. Hope you had a good week so far. It's been a really good week so far. Thank you very much for asking. It's been weird. I think it's kind of really hitting me now that I no longer am with Ring of Fire, and this is my full-time gig. And it's weird because it's kind of surreal. It's amazing. It's very freeing, but it's also like, wow, this is the thing now. And I love it. And I'm having so much fun. Paula Trigg, super chat, thank you, says, I think Mrs. DeSantis will run. She definitely wants to. And I think she's the one who ended up pushing Ron to begin with to actually run. She is the ambitious one. He's the kind of dumbass goofball that's not prepared to do this, which we saw him fall apart hilariously when he ran for president. That was the only bright spot of like the 2024 primary season was Ron DeSantis showing the world what a friggin' freak he is. Like, just socially awkward with the fake laughs, all of it just absolutely sickening. Let's move on. We got some really important things happening around the globe, folks, outside of the United States. Donald Trump announced yesterday, while of course meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. Thank you, super chat there from Kathy Hoffs. Trump announced yesterday that we have officially bombed Venezuela. Allegedly, the port where they load the drugs onto the boats. Now, we have no verification of this. We have no evidence to suggest that this is where the drug boats go to get the drugs, because it was a port. But Trump said, quote, there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats and we hit the area. It's an implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around. Now, first of all, let's talk about the cognitive decline and dementia that he just exhibited in that statement. Every statement had repeated the one prior to it. It's an implementation area. That's where they implement it. The redundancy is a symptom. And again, these are things with the family member with dementia that I have seen firsthand. In my research on dementia, this is a very common thing. It's almost a tell. And again, the sentence before that, where they load up the boats with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats. And he keeps saying the word boats and the boats and the boats and the drugs and the drugs and the boats and the implementation where they implement the implements. That's dementia. But it's also a freaking war crime, right? You do not have the authority to issue unilateral strikes against a country with which we are not actively engaged in any kind of authorized military conflict. But you did. You have no evidence, nothing available publicly. And granted, I understand that, yeah, the military has intelligence that we don't know, we don't see. But you've just launched a ground war, basically. These are not boats out in the ocean. This was land. This was sovereign Venezuelan land that we have now bombed. The guy who, by the way, the same day caught on a hot mic whining like a baby about not winning a Nobel Peace Prize is also like, oh, by the way, I'm starting multiple different wars. I just bombed Nigeria. Now I'm bombing Venezuela. Oh, and for the record, Benny and I right here, Netanyahu, we're talking about bombing Iran. Because, yeah, that's also a thing they discussed. Netanyahu would love nothing more than for somebody else, not him, to wipe Iran off the face of the map. And with the civil unrest, again, somebody brought it up yesterday with a super chat. Thank you for doing that, and I've looked into it. The civil unrest in Iran, because their currency has plummeted to record low in value, right now you've got people in the streets, you've got protesters, you've got the government of Iran tear gassing the hell out of these people and just brutalizing them. And now Donald Trump comes out yesterday and is like, you know what? If you guys don't knock it off, we're going to bomb you. And he did it. He said it while Netanyahu's right next to him, egging him on, saying like, yeah, come on, buddy, go, get him. Arr. Because that's what Netanyahu is. Netanyahu is a freaking warmonger, but he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He wants his big brother, the U.S., to go do it for him. He loves the fight, but he can't fight. No. So big brother USA, who always swoops in and saves him, has to be the one to go do it. It's I don't know, man. It just pisses me off. Super chat here from Andra Brandon says, thank you for all that you do. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm just, guys, it's a horrible way to end the year is all I can say. I wish I was ending, with this live stream here on a more positive note, but shit, I mean, we're headed into World War III. Donald Trump has struck 2 different continents in the last 4 days, Africa and South America. And now we're going to be adding Asia into that. Likely 3 continents in a week that this guy who's not going to start any wars. I don't even know. I mean, this honest to God is a situation that I was not prepared for with this administration. I should have been. That's probably my fault for thinking it may not happen. But, between the tariffs and the economic damage, that was predictable. The collapse of support among our allies. Yeah, we all saw that coming a mile away. But now this unhinged, random, like, I'm just going to start bombing everybody for any reason. I'm going to make it up and we're just going to freaking do it. We're in uncharted waters here. I mean, at least George W. Bush's administration fabricated evidence to pretend we needed to go into a war. I mean, at least they put a little effort into it, Trump is just an unhinged old man who has no filter in how he speaks, but he also has no filter in how he acts now. So he just wakes up in a bad mood and is like, screw it, bomb this country today. Oh, I'm so angry at the media. Let's go bomb Africa. A couple super chats. Let me get to these. Hollywood 113807 says, Big Brother, you mean a leashed attack dog. It's probably a better analogy there. Crush Level says, why has few people ever talked about the fact that Trump's grandfather was an illegal? Trump is completely anti-immigrant, so it's kind of hypocritical. I'm not 100% up to date on the immigration status of Donald Trump's grandfather, so I can't necessarily speak to that. Super chat here from Gonzalore 2008 says, what drives me mad is the amount of people that think we benefit from our relationship with Israel. We benefit for the military industrial complex, right? We sell them weapons. We get the money. We then send them, of course, the money. But also, they go over there, do a lot of intelligence that they give to us, and then we go and bomb these people, which, of course, feeds the military-industrial complex. The intelligence itself, not exactly, something that should be put in the Smithsonian. A lot of it very dubious, excuse me. But yeah, that's why we do it. It's not because of, we got this love of Israel, we have to protect the Holy Land. It's all military. And anybody who thinks it's anything other than that is absolutely just not educated on what's really happening. Rachel Atwood, thank you, says, Happy New Year's, Farron. You're looking well. Thank you very much. I've put a lot of effort this year into me. I will say, actually, as of this morning, 62 pounds. I'm ending the year 62 pounds lighter than what I began the year. I feel great. Um, I'm excited. I'm super happy, and now really got to focus on toning up a little bit because I'm not. Yeah, now that I'm a little slimmer, still not quite where I was aiming to be, or where I am ultimately aiming to be. I'm way ahead of where I thought I would be. But yeah, so I got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to do that. Um, Comment says, I thought you looked lighter. Well, thank you. And it's very, a little difficult for everybody to tell because you typically only see me from here up. But yeah, it's crazy. Super Chat says, thank you, Farron. On a scale of 1 to 10, how screwed will we be these coming months till the midterms? Very. We're gonna see Donald Trump realize that the end is near, both politically and possibly even, sayonara forever. And he's going to become more extreme. And honestly, as we learned in the Bush years, the best way to win elections is to start a war. And then you go to the public and you're like, you can't change horses in the middle of the river. That was the talking point, by the way, going into the 2004 election. That's what we're like. No, we're midstream. You don't change horses midstream. I think that's how it went. So you got to stick with us so that we could end these wars that we started. Real wag the dog situation. Another super chat from Paul the Trig says, subscribe since 2020 and the big lie. Thank you for making mornings at work better. I love my state job, but the politics here can be rough. Well, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the super chat. Listen, my voice is already starting to get rough. I've recorded a ton of videos already this morning. Super chat from Jedi Protector says, MAGA kept pestering us about Clinton and Harris starting wars. Now we are invading allied nations. Exactly. Right? The Democrats are the warmongers. I mean, hell, even some people on the left were using that talking point last year. Boy, I'd love to check in with those people right now and see how they're going, see what their talking points are today, and if they've apologized for the bull crap they spewed last year. V-Man says, if Trump thinks war will help him, maybe he should ask Nicholas II how that worked out for him. Trump doesn't know his history. He's going to think it worked out very well. Everybody loved it. But yeah. I think we're at a wag the dog situation at this point. Listen, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Share all the videos. Got some amazing content coming up for you later today. And again, tomorrow there will be no live stream. There's still plenty of content for tomorrow. So make sure you tune in and catch all of that. In the meantime, if you want to follow me, any social media, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, at Fair and Balanced. Everybody enjoy the rest of your year. You only got, 2 days, day and a half, depending on where you are in the world, maybe just a day. Enjoy it. Make the most of it. 2026, we got a lot of work to do. I will see you all live Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Central. So enjoy the rest of the year, folks.